Hello, I'm Derek Lux.
I'm Wyatt Decker.
And I'm Perry Albers. And our business plan is LAnD Applicators, and we're a custom manure spreading business in the northeast Nebraska area. And also as an incentive, we do annual soil sampling for all our customers. Our mission is to apply nutrients to the soil at an effective rate so that both the customer and LAnD receive a positive net cash flow for the upcoming years of production. We strive to have a great customer base that will rely on us to increase their chances at producing a greater crop at the expense of a cheaper rate of application. LAnD also plans to incorporate our business through our customer in future years by creating relationships that will provide each of us with personal and positive information for each other.
Just like all businesses, we have our own goals. Our first and primary goal is to increase our profit each year of production. After that, we'd also like to pay off our loan in 7 to 8 years instead of 10. Past this, we'd also like to strive for better customer support each and every day. And finally, we'd like to expand production each year and gain another 1,000 acres after 5 years.
This is some of the equipment that we will be using. We have a Cat Challenger track machine that actually has less compaction throughout the field, along with the spreader that also has tracks. We did this, we modified them for that purpose of compaction, so you can't see it after you plant and through the growing season. And our payloader that we'll be using at the pile is an 844J. It's the most efficient machine that we can use. 3 buckets gives us a full load, which every load we haul is an acre. So anyway, it's the most efficient that we can use. And here's a video that we have picked out that we actually took last weekend while we were spreading. This is our Cat machine with the spreader behind it. It's smooth riding, and like we said before, it's less compaction. Therefore, the customer has a better, more efficient looking look to the growing season throughout the year.
Now, before I hit on our balance sheet, I'd like to talk a little bit about our high startup cost. Just like any business, it's extremely scary to go out and buy the equipment and the assets that you need. And that's why we took out a 10-year, $1 million loan through the Iowa State Bank. Besides our equipment alone, we also have an extremely high expense just in our fuel column. But on a brighter note, here's our balance sheet. Now, sure, it shows a considerable amount of debt in the first 3 years, but this is all because of our loan. But on the other hand, we'll be generating a lot of gross income before expenses. Each of these years, we show a profit enough to cover our expenses, including our loans, and then some on top of that. As of now, we have a loan for all of our equipment, and that is why it looks like our profit is lower than it actually is.
This is our income statement that we came up with in our presentation earlier this year for this project. Like Perry just pointed out, our salaries and wages as of right now is $150,000. That's what we're taking out immediately, just $50,000 for each of us to take home. That way we can have it for our families and whatnot, just for our own personal income. And after everything's said and done, our net income this year, we got it out to be about $86,000. After that $86,000, we're going to be putting that back in for retained earnings into the company. This amount will actually be put back in for new investments, more equipment. Also, will help with the $10,000 extra loan payments each quarter that we plan on paying back for the loan. Like Wyatt said, we want to get that loan paid off in 7 to 8 years instead of the full 10. That way, interest gets down, and we don't have to pay that extra amount. And as we show, we can increase our advertising with this money as well. That way, we gain more customers and a better customer base throughout the years of our production and the future years to come.
Now, you might be wondering why we're willing to go out and take the risk of taking $1 million loan. But as our statement of cash flows shows, we make $375,000 on the first 15,000 acres that we cover in a year.
This is our depreciation schedule. As you can see, the bigger, more expensive equipment has depreciated a great deal in 3 years.
Here's our financial ratios. We did it for the first 3 years, just as an example for what we did earlier in class. And we also did a break-even per acre and a revenue basis. For our first 3 years, our ratio shows that we have a decent standing for our position with our loan. Because like Wyatt said, we do have that $1 million loan. It does increase our liabilities quite a bit. more than what we really would want to, but our equipment does cost quite a bit, so we do need that loan. Our first year current ratio, it is lower than 2, but it's not too far off. I know we want to be higher than that 2, just for our financial base, as like our bank wants us to be, and we want to be personally, just to show that we do have this business underhand. But as we see in our third year, our current ratio is about 4.5, which is a greater amount than what we actually, it's what we want, is 4.5 and above. So, and I think we can get that. This is just an outlook, but with our conclusion of numbers and everything, I think it's possible. And with our break even, our first year is about 13,000, and we plan on getting 15,000 acres. So we shouldn't have any trouble with making the money there. And to go along with that, our revenue is about 653,000, which we outlooked at about over 700,000. So we should be all right there also.
In conclusion, our high startup costs is because of how expensive our equipment costs mainly. After calculating numbers and cash flows, we realized that we didn't have much to deal with. We dealt with it by getting a loan to deal with all of those costs with the machinery, including fuel, lube, and parts. Our projections for our business look very profitable, and our goals are extremely attainable due to the customers and acres that are accessible to our production area. We are looking forward to providing our customers with the best service experience that we can offer and help gain a better understanding of what it takes to create and make a business go smoothly with the help of our partners. Thank you.
Thank you.